back to my channel. It is me, Zaza, here, and you are joining me with part 2 of my favourite films. So, in the last part, I spoke to you about movies for the older child, the older person, the adult. This time, I'm talking to you. I couldn't do top 10. I couldn't do top 10 with this. I had to do top 15, and even that was a struggle. But it is my top 15 favourite animated and children's movies. Now you can understand why top 10 just wouldn't work with me. So, should we just get into it? Yeah? Like I said before, like I always say in every video, if you're not already subscribed, do go ahead and press that subscribe button. Do go ahead and press the like button if you enjoy this video, and comment and let me know what your top 15 or even what would be in your top 15 list of favourite children and animated movies. Let's get to it. I said in my last video, particular order, because I physically, mentally and emotionally cannot do it. All of these mean something to me, and therefore it just won't work. We're gonna round this straight. We're gonna round this straight in with Beauty and the Beast, the original. Now you will see a theme. All of the films I'm going to talk about are the original films, because there's nothing that can compare to an original. So Beauty and the Beast. Everyone knows the story of Beauty of the Beast. Belle, a young girl that's grown up with her mother, grown up with her father, who is an inventor. She loves to read. They live in France, and she ends up, I don't want to say too much of the film just in case you haven't seen it, but she ends up in a beautiful mansion with a beast. And as with any other fairy tale, they fall in love. But I'll let you go ahead and watch the film yourself. But the original Beauty and the Beast movie was released in 1991. So I would have been 4 at the time. And I think I related to Belle a lot because I had the same enthusiasm about books and about reading. And I still do today. There is nothing like a book. Nothing can compare to reading a book, a really good book, and completely falling in love with a book, with a story. I relate to her so well. But that's Beauty and the Beast. The next film is an oldie, definitely an oldie, but definitely a goodie. And that is Alice in Wonderland, the original movie, the original Disney movie, which was released in 1951. Can you believe it? 1951? Like, and I can still watch that film over and over again now, and it feels like it could have been made yesterday. It's an amazing, amazing film. Like, it sparks imagination, and I think that's what I loved about this film, was that I was very imaginative as a child, and I love to draw, and I love to write, and I love to read, and I love photography, and I love all art. And in order to produce art, you have to have an imagination, and anything as good as this was amazing to me. So Alice in Wonderland, go and check it out if you haven't, and make sure your kids watch these films. Like, if you have young children, I think it's important that they see these old films, because they're just amazing films, and I don't think any of us should grow up without seeing these brilliant films.
Please, sir! I'm late. Very important. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late. It must be awfully important, like a party or something. Mr. Rabbit, wait! no, I'm overdue. I'm really in a stew. No time to say goodbye. Hello, I'm late.
Oh, BFG. BFG 1989. I was 2 years old when this film came out. Obviously didn't see it when I was 2 years old. I was probably a lot older. Fell in love with this film. It made me believe that giants actually existed, and that there was probably some beautiful, big, friendly giant out there. But more than anything, the story provoked friendship to me. True friendship. And I just loved it. It was funny to me, and it was just a brilliant film. BFG definitely has to be on my top 15 list. Has to.
Oh, I can feel the bubbles trickling down in my tummy. I think I'm going to...
Whiz pop, whiz bang, feel the bubbles go down. Whiz bang, whiz pop, bursting all around. Whiz pop, whiz bang, take it nice and slow. Use never stopping the fabulous feeling of whiz popping wherever you go.
Next is a more up-to-date film, and I don't know how anyone could do an animated and children's movie list without putting this on, and it's Despicable Me. Who doesn't love a good old bit of Gru? Like, this has to be on the list. And those minions. I think more than anything with the film, it's the minions. The minions are amazing. Like, who knew a yellow blob with white eyes? Well, they don't always have two eyes, but with an eye, some goggles, and little arms and feet could be so funny. But it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Has to be on the list. Despicable Me.
Free time. Looks aren't that important to her.
No, Jills, that is not happening. Seriously, I'm fine.
Okay, fine. Forget Natalie. How about my cousin Linda?
No.
Oh, I know someone whose husband just died.
I'm sorry, I did not see you there. Or there.
This film that I'm going to talk about was probably the first film that I watched as a child and got emotional. I think I literally cried the first time I saw this film. And that is The Lion King. When Simba's dad, like, when he died, like, my heart. I'm sorry if I just spoiled the film for you, but I'm expecting that you've seen it. Like, The Lion King. And Timon and Pumbaa was like some of my favourite characters ever. And yeah, it's just, although it can be quite a sad film, it teaches you to come back. It teaches you to persevere and pull through even when things go terribly, terribly wrong. Love it.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze.
It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata?
Another more up-to-date film that I had to put in this is Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo came out in 2003, and they obviously did the sequel, which was Finding Dory, and both of them are brilliant films. Both of them are funny, imaginative. They're just good old family films, and that's why they have to be in my top 10, my top 15.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Oh,
Dory.
I love to swim in.
Dory.
When you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm gonna
keep
get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
Sorry.
Going back to the 90s, sorry, I'm an 80s baby, which means I grew up in the 90s, and, you know, that's where all my film loves come from. but have to put it in, and that is Home Alone, the original film. That film was like, I can do anything. Even if I was left by myself, I can survive. I can look out for myself. I was so gassed. That film, it probably made me feel like I was grown when I was so young. The film came out in 1990, the original film, and it is about a young boy who has been left at home because his family basically forgot him and went on holiday. That's realistically what it boils down to. But he defends his house from burglars and learnt a lot along the way. Definitely a brilliant movie.
Yes!
Oh, the next film I'm going to talk about, I used to love this film, and if you don't know it, like, you need to go and check it out, and that is Babe. Babe. Came out in 1995, and it's about a little piglet called Babe. And yeah, I don't want to tell you the story, but it's a lovely film, and he's such a good little piggy. It's so weird to be talking about a pig, but it's a brilliant film, and if you don't know it, check it out. Show your children it. Love it. That'll do, pig.
The commentary boxes was at a complete loss for words. The man who in his life had uttered fewer words than any of them knew exactly what to say.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Oh, and another one that often gets forgotten, that should never be forgotten, and that is Casper. That good old little friendly ghost, Casper. Love this film, another brilliant film, and it was released in, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So it was released in 1995, and it's another one of these films that you kind of watch it around Halloween. I love it. Love it. It's the best, like, one of the best children's Halloween films. Definitely go and check out Casper.
Can you hurt me? No. Can I hurt you? No. Cool.
The next film I'm going to talk about is probably one of my top, like, if I definitely had to pick an ultimate favourite children's film, which is very hard for me. This list was so hard for me, but it would be this film, and this film is Matilda. I absolutely loved it. I could watch this film endlessly. Even up till now, I can still go back and watch this film and I still get the same feelings that it used to bring up in me from a child. Like, I wish so much as a child that I could have magic, that I could be magical and do magical things, and this little girl could. And she come from a home where she was neglected and not really thought of highly, and she was so smart, and again, love to read. It's becoming a theme here in the type of films and characters that I enjoy. It brings up so much happiness within me when I think about Matilda. So yeah, that's Matilda.
Tell you to run. Well, pick me up with golden hand. Oh, let's sail.
By the time she was 4, Matilda had read every magazine in the house.
A film that I spoke about recently in one of my other videos, sorry, and it's another really holiday film, and it is Miracle on 34th Street. The reason why I used to argue that Santa was real. This was the reason. This was the film that made me argue that Santa was most definitely real. And if you have children sitting by you, you may want to block your ears now. Although he is not real, and we all know this now, this film as a child was so good to inspire, you know, having a belief and not letting other people knock your belief or deter you from what you truly believe. There's so much that can be brought up from films. There's so much things in films that are thought-provoking that you may not necessarily realise straight away when you're watching movies, but there's usually a message, and from that film, that was the message I got. So Miracle on 34th Street.
I know.
Know what?
A secret.
What secret?
Santa Claus. I've known for a long time. He's not real.
They say that seeing is believing.
There has to be something you want for Christmas.
A house, a brother, and a dad. That's all I ever want. If you're really Santa Claus, you can get it for me.
She's deaf. You don't have to talk to her. She just wanted to see you.
You are a very beautiful young lady.
So we're getting to near the end of my top 15. I'm going to go through these last 3, but they are like, if I had to really put them in order, these are like really high to the top. The first one is Jumanji, the original 1995 movie. Robin Williams in Jumanji is amazing. This film is so funny and scary all at the same time. If you're not aware of Jumanji, it is about a young man who basically gets trapped in a game. The game reappears many years later, and the game must be completed in order for all of the atrocities that happened to go away. Like, oh, I just love the film. Absolutely love Jumanji. Just watch it. Just watch it.
TV on too loud.
Peter! Judy!
I always wanted to do this. Could you step back, please?
The next film, not many people know about, or not necessarily the people I know, and I get quite upset that they don't remember this film. Like, how can you forget David Bowie in Labyrinth? Like, Labyrinth! How do you not remember this film? It's about a young girl who basically ends up with, her parents have another child, a little baby boy, and she has to babysit him, and he ends up getting taken because she doesn't want to look after him because she wants to be a teenager. And it basically goes into her having to go into the labyrinth and get her baby brother back. Brilliant film, brilliant cast. It was just, I loved it. It just reminds, you know, these films, they remind you of your childhood and you get sentimental, and yeah, it just makes you happy. It just makes you smile. Like, I can't stop smiling because I keep thinking about these films that just bring me back to being so little and always happy and not a care or worry in the world. It's nice.
I need you. All of you.
You do? Well, why didn't you say so?
So, my final, number 15 on my list, like I said, no particular order, cannot, under any circumstances, do a children's list without putting E.T. You may not agree with me, and I wouldn't understand why, but E.T., which was released in 1982, obviously a lot long before I was born, but in 1982, the alien, he was just, yes, some people was really scared of him. I wasn't. I thought he was funny, I thought he was cute. I might be weird for that, but I got really sad a lot of the time in it, and I always wanted him to survive and get home. E.T. on home. I love E.T. Absolutely love that film.
Oh, God!
Elliot.
What?
Elliot.
I taught him how to talk now. He can talk now.
Elliot.
Look what he brought up here all by himself.
Elliot.
What's he need this stuff for?
Elliot.
E.T., can you say that? Can you say E.T.? E.T.
E.T. E.T. Be good.
Be good. I taught him that too. You should give him his dignity. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Let me know if you also loved any of the films on my list as much as I do. I will be watching these films for the rest of my life and showing them to my child or any more children that I have and grandchildren, because they are some of the top films for children ever made. So, on that note, I'm going to leave it here. If you do enjoy watching my videos, then do go ahead and subscribe so you can always be updated with any videos that I upload. If you enjoyed this one in particular, do go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Let me know what you would put in your top 15 or top 10 favourite children's or animated movies so I can share mine with you. And on that note, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.
Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Off to the cupboard with you now, Chip.